Hello, folks, and welcome back to DH channel. Sorry to mixing it all up. Not too good today, but I wanted to get this over because I think this is astonishing. It is really blowing my mind. It's such a stupid thing that a judge has said, but I'll leave it up to you. How do you feel? Let me fill you in on the details. Now, a divorcee, a woman, she's been forced to pay half her ex-husband's trans surgery in a legal first. The judge says the operation was a need and therefore it was reasonable for the £160,000 cost to be met out of their joint funds. This is a story I'm taking from Special Correspondent Hayley Dixon, and it's today's story. It was posted this morning, so it's right up to date. Now, the divorcee has been forced by the judge to pay half of her ex-husband's trans surgery. As I said, the mother, she's a mother of two children, has argued it's unfair that she has to stump up £80,000 of the £160,000 costs for the procedure when the decision to transition from a man into a woman was what led to the breakdown of the marriage in the first place. But in what is believed to be the first case of its kind, the judge said that the surgery was a need. Not a whim, no, it was a need, and therefore it was reasonable for the cost to be met out of the joint funds. The husband is 58 and has said that the argument was like saying someone who has had cancer should not have the surgery. During the hearing at the Brighton Family Court, this was. The couple, who cannot be named for legal reasons, met while working in the financial sector in London in the late 1990s, and they married in 2002, so we're talking about 23 years of marriage. The husband was living as a man. He was a man. He's a man. They had very international lifestyle, living in several countries on different continents and purchasing properties in various countries and accumulating £3 million in joint assets. They have two children, as I mentioned earlier, and they were privately educated and now both are at university. In 2022, so 3 years ago, the husband informed his wife, so 3 years ago, so he was 55 years of age, so he'd lived as a man for 55 years. So in 2022, the husband informed his wife he was intending to transition into a woman. Yeah, he just popped it out there, so, oh, by the way, missus, I'm going to become a woman. And he was to commence hormone therapy at that stage. 2 months later, the wife, who's 60, so she's 2 years older than him, issued divorce proceedings. The husband had surgery in 2024, so last year, after they'd separated for almost 2 years, and he accumulated a £160,000 bill, and he paid it out of their joint account. During their separation, the husband, who has retrained as a massage therapist and Reiki practitioner, claimed he could not afford to pay the court-ordered maintenance to his wife and his children. But on claiming that he couldn't afford to pay family maintenance for his two children, he splashed out, get this, £14,000 on an Amex card in 1 month, mainly on clothing, nails, jewellery and restaurants. Got £13,000 worth of tattoos. Necessary? A need to have tattoos? In 6 months. And he racked up £1,000 bill in a Milan restaurant. But he can't afford to pay maintenance for his two children. Now, this bitter legal dispute, whether they should split the surgery costs, was at the centre of a bitter legal dispute, which cost the couple together almost £1 million. So it cost him £1 million, arguing over £80,000 that he wanted his wife to pay. That's not necessity, that's meanness. Judge Stuart Farquhar said, "It's not surprising that this issue has generated significant emotions from both parties." No. It is the applicant's position, this is the judge going on, it is the applicant's position that it is a result of the respondent's decision to transition to a woman and undergo surgery that the marriage has broken down. Well, you got that bit right, Judge. And that the words of the defence counsel's opening note, it cannot be right, this is what the ladies' counsel said, it cannot be right that the applicant should have to pay half the costs from her share of the matrimonial funds. But the husband, who says his wife always knew he was trans, said that it should be treated in a way any other medical costs which were ordinarily met from joint assets. In his ruling, the judge noted that the husband had provided medical evidence of gender dysphoria, which had caused significant anxiety, depression and distress, for which the vaginoplasty surgery, he had a vagina created. He had his penis and his testicles removed and he had them inverted to make a vagina. The judge felt that, and the husbands felt that it was considered an appropriate step. So, as we said before, 56 years as a man, and suddenly it was appropriate to have a vagina. Well, as I said, I know how I think. What do you think? In her evidence, the wife was adamant she was not aware that the respondent wished to transition until the end of the marriage, and said it was devastating and a big surprise when she discovered her husband wanted to take cross-sex hormones. She was deeply shocked when her husband stated she intended to live her new life as a lesbian. So he still wanted women, but he wanted women as a woman. And that's when the divorce proceedings began. What a strange, mixed up mind. It's not his body that needed changing, it was his mind needed changing. You know, I don't want to be a man anymore, I want to be a woman, but I want to have sex with women. Duh. She argued that it was her husband's choice to have surgery, but it should be paid out of his own personal assets, saying it was unfair for her to foot half the bill as a decision to transition that caused the end of the marriage. Well, of course, she's not getting nothing out of it, is she? He's left her, she's left him. They split the funds, and then he says, well, I've split my funds. I've just spent £1,000 in a restaurant. I've spent £14,000 on tattoos on my body. But I want you to pay £80,000 for my operation to turn me into a woman. The husband responded, to marry a trans person, you live with that trans person. You benefit from the trans person. They are suicidal and you should support them. I'm just getting a message, let's get rid of it. Right. He argued that it's like saying someone who has cancer should not have the surgery, and that accordingly the cost of the surgery should be met. Someone who has cancer is a disease, it's an illness of the body. A man thinking he's a woman is not a disease of the body. It's not an illness of the body, it's in the mind. Genuine psychological needs. This is from the judge. The judge agreed with the wife's legal team that the husband had shown no understanding whatsoever that the judge said her decision, but his decision to transition to a woman has had the impact on anyone else, and particularly on his wife. Judge Farquhar said that while there is no doubt this has been a hugely difficult and emotionally draining experience for trans women, the lack of empathy for the wife is striking. However, there's always an however when the judge is going to say something that you're not expecting. He said that it could not be considered the husband's treatment of his wife when dividing up the assets, and the court will not consider the reasons that the marriage broke down within a financial remedy proceeding. He said that he was satisfied the surgery was meeting a genuine and deep felt medical psychological need. I don't think it's a medical need, but it's definitely a psychological need. This cannot be and has not been said to have been carried out on a whim. When all the effort and time that the respondent has invested in the process is considered, the judge noted. Therefore, wait for it, it is reasonable for the money to be spent out of the joint resources, he ruled. So a wife and husband and 2 children, so a family, is split up by the husband, who suddenly, after all those years of marriage, raising 2 children who went to private school, then to university, they're at university at this moment, and the husband says, "Oh, I want to be a woman." And the judge rules, well, wife, you've got to pay half of his medical expenses to change his penis and his testicles to a vagina, and hormone treatment so he can grow breasts. Where are we getting these judges from? Where's their thinking? Where is their rationale? What on earth is going on with this woke? Started off with changing homosexual to gay. Gay stands for good as you. They brought it in. It was accepted. Now it's, what is it now? Lesbian, gay, LGBT, bisexual, transsexual. It goes on and on and on, doesn't it? There are only 2 genders, there are only 2 sexes, male and female. You see a male dog, you see a female dog. You see a male deer, you see a female deer. You see a male man and a female woman. There are no other genders. Your comments are always welcome. Please, please, please put your comments in. Don't forget to subscribe, because I've lost subscribers because they don't like what I'm saying. But if you don't like what I'm saying, it doesn't alter what I'm saying when you go, "Oh, I'm not going to subscribe anymore. I'm going to go away." Please subscribe if you like these ideas, and I will bring them forward to you each day. And like the button so I know I'm on the right track. In the meantime, what I'd say to you both, all of you, both, you and me, is what I was thinking of. What I say to you is, be safe, be good, and always speak your mind. See you in the next one. Bye for now.